Hey guys, and welcome back to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. In this video today we are going to be talking about the Super Sega. What is the Super Sega, you ask? And honestly, 1 hour ago I had no idea what it was. All credit to Mad Little Pixel. I am subscribed to his YouTube channel, and I have been for a number of years, even before I started doing YouTube myself. And it popped up on my feed and I was like, wow, I cover FPGA gaming. I haven't heard about this, but you know what? I'll take information from, well, wherever the information is coming from. So I'll leave a link to Mad Little Pixel's video in the description of the video. Do watch that. He goes through a lot of stuff. But what I've done is I've captured some screenshots of his video where he kind of shares the press release that he got, and the press release isn't actually due out till tomorrow. It says on the top there, press release on the 25th of June 2024, and today's actually the 24th, right? And that's when I'm filming this. So let's go through this, guys. Before we get into it, if you're not subscribed to the channel, then a subscription and a like is always super duper appreciated. So let's have a look at this. So press release 25th of June 2024, an FPGA ASIC retro console project is on its way. SUPERSEGA.com. Okay, that's their website. We'll have a look at the end. I've got that on the end of the slideshow. So a Spanish team of guys born in the 70s and 80s whose goal is to release an all-in-one Sega console, right? AIOSC in the form of a new retro FPGA ASIC console. Is expected to be fundraising this year, 2024. Okay, so they expect to be fundraising it. Let's kind of go through it a little bit. Now remember, with fundraising always comes with risks. You're essentially trusting someone with your money, and you're trusting them to deliver your project. So let's see how this kind of surfaces. It's something that I intend to cover, and it's something that I'm very excited about. Right, let's now read on. Users will be able to play its own Sega cartridges from Sega SG-3000, Master System, and Mega Drive, aka the Genesis, as well as its own Sega Saturn and Dreamcast games. Right, that's interesting, right? And here you go, we've got it down here. I think I've got a better picture in the next slide, so let's have a look at that. Okay, so what we've got, the Super Sega. Over here, SC3000, SG1000 cartridges, Master System cartridges, Mega Drive cartridges here, and over here, okay, so Saturn and Dreamcast, Sega CD and DVD reader writer. Okay, interesting. And down here we've got an SD card reader, so that'd be great to run games with SD as well, right? I mean, me personally, just looking at over here, I mean, I'm very happy with the Sega Saturn core and the MiSTer. The only thing that interests me is the Dreamcast. Now, I'm not a person that has a massive cart collection. In fact, I don't think I have any Mega Drive or Master System cartridges. So, but I get it. There's Sega people out there with massive cartridge collections, and I do like what the guys here are trying to do. Right, moving over to the next slide. So non-software emulation specs, true FPGA logic and hardware. The new upcoming Super Sega console is based on UltraScale Plus FPGA featuring Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and an SD card reader writer. The CD DVD reader writer with a transparent bay is featured. 8 joystick ports allow users to use its original Sega pads, while also they can use USB 4. Okay, dimensions. Okay, so you got the dimensions down here. That's the FPGA down here. And I think in my next slide, yeah, I don't know what the FPGA is, right? So that's the FPGA, I presume, that they're showing. But here you go. Have a little look at that. The picture's not so clear when I've kind of cut it up and zoomed it up a bit. Okay, so let's have a look at this here now. So experienced team mates, right? The engineers behind, so led by Alejandro Martin, a computer engineer, ex Cinemartin and Tres Telecom developer, and Tony Hernandez, CAD designer, along with other members like Carlos Lopez, Cristina Burgess. The team has many years counting in hardware and software development. Okay, I obviously they're a team from Spanish, so the English isn't quite. There's a few kind of grammar and spelling mistakes here, but I won't criticize them on that, right? This is just the first press release, but it wouldn't have gone bad to kind of maybe just kind of run it through some kind of software, right? Even Google, just to kind of correct it, or even ChatGPT. But I guess, look, you know, I'm not going to judge them on that, but it could have been a little bit more refined, right? So the engineers behind, okay, so that's them, and I guess that's one of the engineers there sitting in what appears to be a plane. Okay, so good stuff. Let's now kind of move on. So Current state and availability. So far, so good. Whenever I see that, I always remember a Megadeth album where it goes so far, so good, so what? Okay, going off topic, Pixel. Let's go back in. So Christina Burgess, and I apologize if I butcher any names. Public Relationships says until Super Sega does not have a working prototype, they will not release any funding campaign. Okay, that's kind of good to know, right? So they show a prototype, they show stuff running, there's proof of there's proof of concept or proof of some kind of development, and then crowdfunding begins. I can't emphasize enough, guys, crowdfunding campaigns always carry a risk. I've personally not been stung by one, and I have backed a few. In fact, the device I'm filming this video on now is my on-the-go device, the GPD WinMax 2. I like it a lot, and I did crowdfund that device, right? But yeah, it does carry an element of risk, so we'll see how this kind of goes, and obviously it's up to you individually to do your own due diligence and see if this is something you want to back when the time if and when the time actually comes. So currently we have almost all Sega consoles games up to Saturn in working playable state. Okay, I mean, we've kind of got up to Saturn on the MiSTer as well. The main thing we're interested in, guys, is like the Dreamcast. So reading on, and a few Dreamcast playing so far so good, but until we finish the prototype, we will not consider we will not consider to release the project, or we will not considering to release the project, right? Okay, Alejandro, words on that. We had been working on a Sega Saturn core from a few years ago. Until now, there were almost no suitable FPGA hardware out there, but with the Ultra Scale Plus, things changed and the prices seem more reasonable than before. With a minimum of 100k and up to 1,000,000 of logic cells, now it is possible to do a Dreamcast behavior with enough speed. Okay, so that's interesting to know, because I always say when it comes to the upper end of the FPGA, the only thing I'm looking forward to on the console side is actually a Dreamcast. So if we get a Dreamcast, whoever gets there first will get my money, whether it's Replay 2, whether it's Mars, whether it's these guys. So it's amazing because we've got many different projects on. It feels like a race is on, and honestly, like looking at it from a logical kind of perspective, with all the projects that are happening, not all of them are going to survive if all of them do actually make it to the day and actually surface. Let's say best case scenario, every project in the works sees the light of day, one is going to be the winner, one or two are going to be like the clear front runners, and everything else is going to kind of get left behind. At least historically speaking, that's how things work. Okay, so let's have a look at this over here. Okay, so another kind of diagram here. Okay, so please visit the project website supersega.com, where soon we will be releasing materials, docs and interviews. Okay, so that's interesting, right? So cool. All right, so that's the website. Now it's just a placeholder, you can't do anything on there, but it's nice that they've obviously got their domain, the supersega.com. I don't know if there's any kind of legal issues or ramifications from Sega if they're using Sega in the title, right? Super Sega, because it does seem like a fan project that's not part of an official Sega project. So hopefully there won't be kind of any legal action or any issues from Sega, because I would imagine calling it something different, but it can play everything from Sega, but it's not quite named like that, the way Analog do it, like, you know, the Mega SG, the Super NT, etc, etc. So guys, share your thoughts about this below. Once again, mad props to Mad Little Pixel. Appreciate him putting out this video, and just happy to kind of get these screenshots from his video. So like I said, I'll link his original video in the description, but this does sound interesting, guys. Again, I'll take it with a grain of salt, because, you know, until things are proven, until something is tangible, it's just diagrams and hey, this is what we're going to do. Again, I'm always excited about new FPGA projects, you know, to some extent the more the merrier. I would definitely like to see these. I've got a lot of friends with massive Sega collections, and they'll be jumping up with joy just at the thought of this, right? For me, primarily Dreamcast. If Dreamcast and a true FPGA implementation of it is out, I would absolutely love that. But that's really it, guys. Wanted to put this out there. Be absolutely awesome to one another. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.